1 minute, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna. We are in the 4th session of our Bhagavad Gita class. Okay?
Yes, Mata.
Okay, I am unmuting all of you. Muting all of you. Okay? If you have any doubts, just we shall okay, right. So right. So we have come up to from sloka 1 to sloka 11. So what we have learned in the first 3 slokas, the 3 sessions is we have learned about the introduction, and we have we try to understand, like even though we have covered only 11 slokas, what we are doing here is we are trying to understand why the war has taken place, and why so many who are all the people involved in the war, and their mindset and their understanding of the total situation, and we are mostly going into the background of the war than getting into direct Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so now we have come to sloka 11. Okay, who will read sloka 11? Yeah, Dikshit Prasad. If you don't talk.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Tasya sanjayena harsam kuru vruddha ditamaha simha nadam dinadchohi sankham dadhamu pratapavan. Translation: The Bhishma, the great valiant grandchild of the Kuru, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his called very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So we have been discussing that Duryodhana, even though he is exhibiting lot of courage that he is going to win the war because he has got huge army with him, but inside his heart he knows that there is a chance that he is going to lose, and he is doubtful about Bhishma and Dronacharya because these are the people who normally stick on to the truth. So they normally support only truth. So that way he is doubtful that Bhishma may support him or may not support him. So so a lot of the thoughts are going in Duryodhana's mind. So now anyway all of them have assembled in the war field. So Duryodhana, Bhishma, Bhishma wanted to give some courage to Duryodhana. So once the way they start the war in those days is every morning before starting the war. This is actually day one when all of them blow the conch shells. I told you what are conch shells. They are called senkham, and when we blow them like that, huge noise comes. Like the conch shells which are available to us now may not give so much of noise, but the conch shells which are being blown in those days, and because of the power with which they blow, huge noise comes. So Bhishma, so when the war begins, the main heads of the war, they blow the conch shells, saying that we are ready for the war. We'll start the war. So every day morning, when they start the war, they blow the conch shells, and evening, that means when the sun rises, they start the war. And by the time the sun sets, those days, they used to close the war. That means after sunset, there is no war. Then they don't fight at all. Even if one comes before other also, they don't fight. So they take care of the people who are injured and the various things they do, they take rest. And the next day, again, they start the war. It is not day and night war in those days because they have a lot of principles and they go as per the principles. They have to give rest to the animals also because they were fighting with the horses, elephants, and those animals, they definitely need rest. So they were every day starting in the morning and then closing it by night. So that day, now that anyway they are in the war field, so Bhishma started blowing his conch shells. So he blew it so loudly. Why did he do it? Now that he is supporting Duryodhana, he wanted to Duryodhana to feel that, oh, Bhishma is Bhishma Pitamaha, our grandfather. Even though his mind is towards Arjuna, he is supporting us only. He is on my side only. He wanted to give that feeling to Duryodhana. So he has blown the conch shell loudly. But here, one thing we have to understand about Bhishma is he is one of the Mahajans. That means the most devoted, the highest devotees of Lord Krishna. So because of Bhishma's certain vows which he has taken, he was supporting Duryodhana that because the vow he has taken is, he told his father that throughout his life he is going to guard the throne. He never said, I am going to guard the justice. He only said, I am going to guard the throne. So who is sitting on the throne? Dhritarashtra is sitting on the throne. So he had to support Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. But he knew who is Krishna. Duryodhana is very clear that Krishna is the Godhead. In fact, Bhishma was very happy. He felt that I am more luckier than Arjuna because in the war field that they fought for many days. So throughout the time, what was happened? Arjuna was behind Krishna, whereas Bhima was in front of Krishna. So Bhishma thought, I am very fortunate. I am able to see Krishna face to face, whereas Arjuna is seeing Krishna from behind. He is that kind of a God-conscious person. And also, he knew that if somebody dies in the consciousness of Krishna, they would reach Goloka. So what he used to do is, whenever he was killing somebody, wherever they came across him, he used to bring them to in front of Krishna and kill him. That means a person who was dying used to look at Krishna while dying. That means when we look at Krishna while dying, what will happen? We will attain the final abode. So that way he is so conscious about Krishna, and that Krishna is the supreme Godhead. He also knows what is dharma. He knew that even when, after the total war was over, the way Arjuna was bewildered when before the war, Dharmaraju Yudhishthira was also down. After the war, lot of crores of people died. Yesterday we have discussed, no? I have given you the figures of the capacity of each fighter. So, I have told that these people had 11 Akshonis of who Kauravas had 11 Akshonis and Pandavas had 7 Akshonis of their army, which totally contributes to 64 crore lives. So almost all of them were died. Whoever participated in the war died except Pandavas. So when so many lives are died, Arjuna, Yudhishthira was very down. He was feeling very bad. So what he did is, he was supposed to take the throne. So immediately after the war, he said, no, after killing so many people, I don't want to rule this country anymore. I don't want this kingdom. It is only for this kingdom that we killed so many people. Then Krishna tried to convince him, but Krishna also could not convince him. So what Krishna does is, he took Dharmaraju, that is Yudhishthira, to Bhishma when Bhishma was on his deathbed. That the other day we have discussed, no? When Arjuna have put arrows on Bhishma, Bhishma was just fell like this back on the arrows. So he was there on the deathbed waiting for his death. So when he was waiting for his death and on his deathbed, Bhishma, but he was talking very normally, even though he was weak. All those days he never ate or drank anything. So Krishna took Dharmaraju to Bhishma, and then Krishna tells Bhishma that, see, this is what Yudhishthira is saying. You don't want to take the throne. So then Bhishma tells him what is dharma. The way Bhagavad Gita was told to Krishna, Bhagavad Gita was told to Arjuna by Krishna, this Bhishma also tells what is justice, what is dharma, what is adharma, what each character should do. And so when Bhishma tells Yudhishthira, then Yudhishthira gets convinced. Here, what Krishna wants to prove is that it is not that Krishna does not know how to convince Yudhishthira. He wants to prove that his devotee Bhishma is more knowledgeable than him. So that way he tried to convince Yudhishthira. So when this scene was going on, everybody was there. So Draupadi was also there. She laughs, she smiles. Then Bhishma looks at her and says, Amma Draupadi, I know why you are laughing. I am talking so much about dharma, but what is that I have done in my life? When so much of adharma was happening, I could not stop it. I did not stop it. So you are laughing that when I know what is dharma, why I did not stop. And he tells the reason are two. One thing is, those days I was dependent on Duryodhana. So the blood in me is polluted. So because the blood in me is polluted, I have taken the adharma side. And now that I am on this deathbed, on these arrows, all the blood, the total blood in me is drained out. So I no more owe them. So I am talking what is dharma. And also I know that Krishna is there on your side and Krishna is going to come and save you. And so like this, till now actually nobody has talked. Only Duryodhana has talked. Nobody talked in the war field till now, if we have observed. Why? Because Duryodhana inside, he is very fearful. So, because he is fearful, he is talking. And he is talking. So normally when foolish people talk, when we know that this fellow is going to fail in the exam, and the fellow keeps on talking, saying, I'll get that marks, I'll get this marks, I'm so great, I'm this great, then what happens? We just keep silent. Okay, let him talk. Anyway, the result is what will count. Why we should answer? That way, even in Kaurava side also, nobody answered. They just allowed Duryodhana to talk. So now Bhishma has blown his conch shell. Sloka 13. Who will read? Harshit. Yeah, Harshit.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
तथा शङ्खश्च ब्रेयश्च पावनखः गोमुखः सहस्वेभ्यन्तः स.
Yeah, please. Hare Krishna, Harshit. You got muted.
Hare Krishna. Sabdhastu bhavat. Translation. After that, the councils, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous.
Horrifying, terrifying sound. So once Bhishma has blown the conch shell, that means he has given an indication that the war has begun. So what happens is every day there'll be a team of people whose work is only to do all this. They make lot of noise, huge noise. Why they make huge noise is, like when we go for war field and other things, there'll be a sort of fear also in the minds of the people. So this kind of sounds agitate the people. That means when we go for certain celebrations in the village, they also make a lot of noises like this. When a lot of people, in Telugu we say punakam, they lose their control and they get into the control of others. That way, when so much of sounds are made, people get provocated, and then they really get the feel of fighting. So when they get the feel of fighting, they start fighting very terrifying, in a terrifying way. So that way, they make this kind of sounds to give a feeling of excitement. And also here, one more thing what we have to understand is, this sound, only the Kauravas got frightened, whereas the Pandavas, they never got frightened, because the reason is very simple. Like suppose you students are there. Suppose there is a student who has studied very well, and there is a student who has not studied properly, who has not prepared for the exams properly. And when both of you go to school and the school bell rings, what will happen? The student who has prepared very well for the exam gets excited in a positive way. Whereas the student who has not prepared for the exam, what happens is a sort of fear comes in their heart. That means, Amma, bell also has rang. That way they get the fear. So similarly, all the people supporting Kauravas, they knew that they are going to die, and they are supporting wrong people. So the people who are supporting Kauravas got a lot of fear in them, and the people who are supporting Pandavas were very happy and excited. It never gave any fear to them. Yeah, 14. So, Siri, will you read? Hare Krishna, Siri, are you there? Yeah. 1 minute. 1 minute. Yeah, Siri.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Tatah sevtair hayar yukte महती स्यन्दने स्थितौ माधवा पाण्डवाश्चैव दिव्यौ शङ्खौ प्रदत्तमौ. Translation. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental counsels.
Yeah. So this side now we just learned that Bhishma has blown his conch shells. Who is on the other side? Arjuna and Krishna are there. So here Krishna and Arjuna have also blown their transcendental conch shells. Why did he use the word transcendental? Like it is the conch shell of Krishna. The name of Krishna's conch shell is Panchajanya. Panchajanya is his conch shell. We studied about this one when you heard about this, when I told you about the stories, Krishna Kathas. Like this Panchajanya was his Krishna's conch shell from the beginning, and what they say is he was very proud. Like he even laughed at Lakshmi Devi once, saying that, see, I am so lucky, I am at the lips of Krishna, whereas you are at the feet of Krishna, you are so small. That way, this is one thing, wherever we are, we should never feel proud about our position. We should always, we can always enjoy and do our duty properly, but we should not. So Lakshmi Devi, she is such a great lady. She gets angry and then gives a curse to him, saying that you are going to become a demon. And so he becomes a demon. And as we have already discussed, we know that Krishna also went to a guru. And when he went to the guru, and after he finished his studies, he asked his guru, what is that Guru Dakshina I have to give? So that guru also knows that Krishna is God. Normally, if it is somebody else, that guru would not have asked Krishna for this. He says, okay, my son died few years back. I'm really in a very bad state. I don't have son. So please see that my son, I get back my son. If it is anybody else, they cannot do. But because it is Krishna, and the guru also knows that it is Krishna, and then he goes and then asks, where did your son die? He says it's in the ocean. Then he goes into the ocean, and then he meets this Panchajanya, the demon who has killed what do you call it? Krishna's guru's son. And so he goes and kills the demon, and then asks, where is my guru's son? Then he says, I don't know, I have killed him, and now he has gone to Yamaloka, and he goes to Yamaloka and get back his guru's son and gives. That way, this is the story of Krishna's conch shell Panchajanya. Similarly, Arjuna also has his own conch shell. So here they're saying that stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses. And Krishna's chariot also, the chariot which, Arjuna's chariot also, the chariot which Krishna is riding is a very great chariot. This also has a great story. When long back, like when Arjuna was quite young, once Arjuna and Krishna, they just go to one forest for an evening walk. Kandava Aranyam it is called, and a very thick forest. So when they go there, what happens is Agnideva comes and then asks Arjuna for a favor. He says, what is the favor you want? Arjuna says, okay, I'll do whatever favor you want, you tell me. Then that Agni says this, what do you call this? One king has done huge yajnas, and he has put lot of tons and tons of ghee in the Agnikunda. And so obviously all that ghee is absorbed by Agni. And so he says, I have a stomach trouble. Because of drinking so much of ghee, I have some stomach trouble. And now to get rid of that stomach trouble, I need to eat one medicinal plant in this Kandava forest. And I don't know which one is that medicinal plant. So Arjuna says, what do you want to do? He says, I want to eat the total forest. So obviously the medicinal plant also goes into my stomach, and my stomach problem will be reduced. So Arjuna says, okay, I can help you, but now that I have just come out for a evening walk, I don't have anything with me. I don't have bow and arrow, or I don't have anything with me. So and then Krishna says, okay, you go and eat. What is stopping you? Then he says, in this forest, there is a snake called Takshaka. And now that Takshaka, he's a friend of Indra. So when I go and try to eat the forest, obviously Takshaka will lose his home. So he has gone and asked Indra to give him to stop me from eating the forest. So Indra is protecting this forest. So I want to, whatever may happen, I want to eat this forest. So Arjuna says, okay, and he says, I don't have anything with me. So what happens is Vayudeva comes and gives him bow and arrow. His bow's name is Gandiva. And then if you just tie the bow and then make sound, the sound will be so terrifying that any weak-minded people, they just faint for the sound itself. They don't even need to get hit by arrows. And they have the place where they put the arrows. Two are given to Arjuna, which are always filled. That means any number of bows, arrows Arjuna takes from it and starts shooting, it's automatically getting filled. Nobody need to fill it. He will never say that my arrows are over. It will automatically fill. He will get that kind of a arrow. And Chitraratha, his name is one Gandharva, gives him 4 horses, 4 white horses. These horses are so great that they can travel as fast as mind. That means very fast. Normally we say that mind is the fastest traveler. That means if I just say, think of America, that means my mind is in America. If I say sun, my mind is on sun. So it can travel that far. So Arjuna also, it really doesn't mean that it just goes like mind, but it is the fastest traveling horses. And Somadeva, another king, gives him a chariot. And so Arjuna becomes very happy. Now he has got all the equipment to do a war. And so when obviously all of us, like when we get something new, we want to use it and then enjoy it. Like we get a cell phone, immediately we have to use. We get a laptop, we want to use. You people get a cycle, immediately, even in the midnight, if your father brings you a cycle, what will you say? Okay, we'll just go for a round and come. So that way Arjuna also wanted to use his chariot and bow and arrow. Then he asks Indra, not Indra, Agnideva, okay, now tell me what is that I have to do. So Agnideva says, burn the forest. Then immediately Arjuna burns the forest. Agnideva starts eating the forest, and then Indra gets angry. And then what he does is he puts heavy rain on the forest. That means he doesn't allow Agni to continue eating. So Arjuna just with his bow and arrow, he puts a curtain kind of shelter on the forest so that the water doesn't come. Then he puts water as if it is not water which is drizzling down, but it is like pillars of water. Like when it's a big pipe, when we blow water, it goes so hard. He does like that. Even that Arjuna stops. Then he makes the water come onto it like a wall. That also Arjuna stops. So finally, the total Kandavana was eaten by Agni, and he is happy. And Indra also realizes that Arjuna is none other than his son. The other day we have studied that Kunti got this son with the by saying the mantra and then inviting Indra. So it indirectly Arjuna is Indra's son. So he also feels happy that my son is so great. And then he says, he blesses him also. Okay, so that way, and then after the war, all these people are also so happy. They say that you can keep all this chariot, bow and arrow with you only. That way, his Arjuna, from that day, he uses that bow and arrow, which is called Gandiva. And here that is the reason why it is said that these conch shells are transcendental conch shells, whereas the conch shells of others are normal conch shells. And here also Lord Lakshmi is on Krishna's side. Why? Wherever Krishna is there, Lakshmi is there. What is Lakshmi? Lakshmi is nothing but victory. So wherever Lakshmi is there, the victory comes. So these conch shells give terrifying fear to Kauravas. Yeah, who will read? Read. Sorry, wait. Yeah, read. You're muted, huh? I am not muted you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Panchagnyam Hrishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Poundram Dhadhamau Mahashankham Bhima Karma Vrikodaraha.
Now, after Krishna has blown his conch shell,
Lord Krishna.
oh yeah, read.
Yes, Mataji. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchagnya. Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his the Devadatta, and Bhima, the ferocious eater and performer of Herculean activities, blow the terrific conch shell called Poundra.
Terrific conch shell called Poundra. So Krishna, as we have discussed about the conch shell of Krishna, Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his conch shell, Devadatta. And Bhima, the voracious eater, Bhima eats a lot. How much he used to eat is, whenever there is food in the house, and Mother Kunti used to serve all her 5 sons. So what she used to do is, whatever is cooked, she used to break it into 2 parts. Normally, any mother, what they do, she serves equal part to everybody. But here, Kunti used to make it 50% and give 50% to Bhima, and the balance 50% he used to distribute to all her other children. Like, because from the childhood, Bhima is a very well-built person, and he used to eat lot, and he is physically very strong. So that way he was always doing Hercules tasks, like killing lot of demons with his hands only. And so he blew his conch shell called Poundra. His conch shell's name is Poundra. So here, Rishikesa. Krishna is addressed as Rishikesa. Why? See, throughout Bhagavad Gita, what happens is, these different names, Krishna and Arjuna, are addressed with different names. The reason is, depending on the situation of the scene, that is how they address. Like when they feel very affectionate to each other, Krishna and Arjuna, they address each other with the relation they have. When Krishna wants to make Arjuna feel his strength, he addresses him with a great name which he got because of his achievements. Similarly, Krishna also, depending on the situation, Arjuna used to address Krishna in the same name. Like Rishikesa. Rishikesa means the controller of all the senses. Who is controlling all this universe? It is Krishna. So who is controlling the senses? It is Krishna. So Rishikesa means the controller of all the senses. And we know that Krishna is controlling of all the senses. So if we want Krishna to control our senses also, what we should do is, we should keep Krishna in our heart and in our mind. Otherwise, we are rejecting Krishna. If we are not keeping Krishna in the heart, that means if you keep him inside our heart and keep requesting him, saying that, please take care of me. if we are in that consciousness, he controls all our senses. That means he does not allow us to talk what we are not supposed to talk. He does not allow us to eat what we are supposed to eat. Means he controls all our senses. That is called nothing but Krishna consciousness. And a person, and he has also given right knowledge to the senses of Arjuna. Like Arjuna also in Bhagavad Gita, we know that it is Arjuna who got bewildered by seeing everybody around and did not want to fight. So Krishna, by telling Bhagavad Gita, has given him the right knowledge, that means the right sense of doing things. So that way he has given right sense to Arjuna. That is the reason also he is called as Rishikesa. And normally, like all his names are like that only. He is called as Madhusudana. Why is he called as Madhusudana? There is a demon called by name Madhu. It is Krishna who has killed that demon. So he is called as Madhusudana. That means whenever Krishna is to be addressed that way, that you are a great man, you have killed a lot of demon, Arjuna used to address him as Madhusudana. And sometimes affectionately used to call him as Govinda. Govinda, that means a person who gives enjoyment, anandam, to goats, that means cows. Then in that context, he was always addressed as Govinda. And he was sometimes called as Vasudeva, that means the son of Vasudeva, Devaki Nandana, a person who has given pleasure to Devaki Mata. And also he is sometimes known as Partha Saradi. Saradi, we all know the charioteer. So he was the charioteer for Partha. Partha, who is Partha? Arjuna is Partha. Why is Arjuna called as Partha? Kunti's actual name is Partha. Partha. But why is she called as Kunti? She is the princess of the country called Kunti. She is the daughter of Kunti Bhoja, Kunti Maharaj. So she is called as Kunti. That became her name, but her actual name is Prudha. That means, and she is none other than Krishna's father's sister. Kunti is Krishna's father's sister. That means Krishna and Arjuna are first cousins. So that's why Krishna addresses Arjuna sometimes as Partha, and Krishna is addressed as Parthasarathi. Okay. And sometimes Arjuna addresses Krishna as Dhananjaya. Krishna as Dhananjaya, because a person who has earned a lot of money is called Dhananjaya. Like once when Yudhishthira wanted to do a great yajna and he wanted a lot of money, so he asks Arjuna. So he goes to various countries, and then they are the emperors of the whole world. So when they go, all the kings have to give them money. So that way Arjuna has brought a lot of money. So he is known as Dhananjaya. And Bhima is addressed as Rukodara, Udaram. Udaram means stomach. Rukodara means a person who eats a lot is called Rukodara. Okay, that is how they are addressed. So we'll go to the next. Yeah, Siri, will you read? Siri, can you read?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, you read all the three slokas and then all the three meanings together.
Okay, Mataji. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha Nakula Sahadevascha Sughosa Manipushpakau. Bhagavad Gita 1.17. Kasyascha Parameshwasa Shikhandi cha Maharadhaha Drishtadyumno Viratascha Satyakischa Parajitaha. Bhagavad Gita 1.18. Drupado Draupadayescha Sarvashah Prithvipate Saubhadrascha Mahabahu Shankhan Dadmuh pratak pratak. Translation. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakula and Sahadeva blew their Sugosha and Manipushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kasi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadyumna Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells.
Yeah, here Sanjay is telling Yudhishthira, Dhritarashtra, that all these people have blown their conch shells. That Yudhishthira, we know he has blown his son of Kunti and Anantavijaya. These are all great heroes who are supporting the Yudhishthira. And including Draupadi's sons. Draupadi had 5 sons. All of them are also in the war field. All of them was fighting. This is what Sanjaya has told Dhritarashtra. And he also, especially he mentioned, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. Abhimanyu, who is the son of Subhadra? Abhimanyu, the greatest warrior, who was just 16 years old when that happened. So all of them blew their conch shells. So why is he telling all this to the Dhritarashtra is very simple, because Sanjaya knows that it is this war is happening unfortunately because of the desire of Dhritarashtra. If not for the desire of Dhritarashtra that he or his son should become the king, this war would not have happened. So Sanjaya knows that the reason for this disaster is none other than Dhritarashtra. So he is telling indirectly, because he is the king, he cannot directly say that you are the reason for all this. He is only saying that, you see, the small kids are also in the war, the small boys are also in the war, they are also fighting. So he has told that all the people in the on Pandava's side are blowing their conch shells. But here, one thing what we have to remember is, Pandavas, even though they are fighting, they knew that what they are doing, they are killing their elders, is not good. So before the war began, before blowing the conch shells, what Dharmaraju does is, he gets down from his chariot and then goes to Bhishma, Dronacharya, and all the elders in the family. He goes to them. When he is going, because the elder brother is going, the other 4 brothers also follow. So initially they don't understand. What is this? My elder brother, he came to the war field here to fight, and without fighting, he is going to the other side. And so when he goes there, he goes to the elders and then gives his pranamas. He says, I am really sorry for fighting with you. I should not fight with you, but because of the situation, I am fighting with you, and bless me. And bless me, and that I'll be the victorious. Even though he was fighting with those people, with Bhishma and other elders, he was still obedient to him, and then went to them and then requested for their blessings. Then Bhishma and Dronacharya, all of them become very happy. They say, if you have not done this, we would have really got angry that you came and you started fighting with us. Now that you are still obedient to us and you have still come for your blessings, I am blessing you to be the winner. So that way, even before fighting also, the Pandavas were very loyal to their elders. And even they asked Bhishma, what is the way to kill you? They asked Dhritarashtra, Dronacharya also, what is the way to kill you? Because they're such a great warriors, it's not easy to kill them. Then Bhishma and Dronacharya, they say, don't worry, when the time comes, we will tell you, you don't worry about it. Okay, that way, the Pandavas, even during the war also, were very obedient to the elders who are fighting on the opposite side. Okay, Dikshit Prasad, will you read?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
1 minute, Mataji. 1 minute, Mataji, open it.
You can see on the screen now, or next time you can read. Now Harshit will read. Harshit,
Sagosho dharta shatanam hrudayani vyadharatha sabascha prithivim chaiva tumulo nadayan. Translation: the blowing of these different conches became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky. On the earth, it is shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
So here, when everybody has blown their conch shells, and the sound was so vibrant, and it was uproaring, like it was roaring of lions. Lot of lions come and roar at a time. How will it be? It will be very terrifying and fearful. It was so fearful and vibrant. And then because of the sound, the sound was vibrating. That means resound was coming from the sky to the earth, and it shattered the hearts of sons of Dhritarashtra. So this sound did not give any fear to Pandavas. This sound has given fear only to sons of Dhritarashtra, because they knew that what all they have done is wrong, and that Krishna is on the other side and they are going to die. So it gave lot of psychological fear to the sons of Dhritarashtra. Okay. Who will read this? Harshit, will you read? Harshit?
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji. अत व्यवस्थितं दृष्ट्वा धार्तराष्ट्रं कपिध्वजः प्रावृते शास्त्रसम्पत्ते धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डवः ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यम् इदम् अहमयीभते. Translation: At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in their military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Shri Krishna these words.
Yeah. Here he is. So here at that time, now that everybody has blown their conch shells, so now they have to start fighting. So a son of Pandu, that is Arjuna, is the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked by Hanuman. We discussed about the chariot of Arjuna, but about that time we forgot to talk about this. The chariot of Arjuna had the flag of Hanuman on it. So having the flag of Hanuman is a sign of victory. Why it is called, why it is symbolized as sign of victory is when Rama went to fight with Ravana, he has taken the help of Anjaneya, and both of them together went there. Who is Rama? Rama is none other than Krishna. So here also Arjuna is accompanying Krishna and Arjuna for the war. So this way, the chariot, the construction of the chariot itself shows the victory of the Pandavas. And so he has, with that chariot bearing the flag of Arjuna. So the chariot was moving, and then Arjuna got himself prepared to take his arrows and then start shooting. And then he wanted to, and then when he looked at the total army of Dhritarashtra, then he tells Arjuna the following words. Siri, can you read? Where is Siri? Siri is not there. She's there. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Arjuna Vacha सेनायोरुभयोर्मध्ये रथं स्थापयमेच्युत यादवद् एतान् निरीक्षेऽहं योद्धु कामान् अवस्थितान्. Bhagavad Gita 1.22. कैर्माया सह योद्धाव्यम् अस्मिन् రణసముద్యమే. మాతాజీ ఇది ఇంతే ఉందా?
అంతే ఉందమ్మా.
Okay. Translation. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms.
Yeah, in this sloka, Arjuna addresses as Krishna as Achyuta. But means that the meaning of Achyuta is a person who never fails in showing mercy on his devotees. Why did he use the word? Because here from now that the war is going to become in the start, Arjuna has to instruct Krishna saying you do this, you do that, you do this. So Arjuna knows that Krishna is the God. And he also knows that he is a person who is showing lot of mercy on his devotees, and he never fails showing mercy on his devotees. That is the reason Krishna, he addresses him as Achyuta. Yeah. So what did he ask? He says, "Oh inflammable one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I can see with whom I am fighting." So what is important for any one of us is when we are doing some act, we should have 100% understanding of what we are doing. Like Arjuna, now that he has come for the war, he just wanted to have a first look, a direct his own feeling of who is there on the other side. He knows who is there, but knowing something is different from seeing with your eyes. So he wanted to see that with his own eyes. So he says, he tells Krishna, please take the chariot to the who has come for this great war. I just want to see both the parties. So he says that. 1.23. Harshit?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yotasmanam avekshaham yayate atra samagataha dartarastrasya durbedher yuddhe priya chikirsava. Translation. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra.
Yeah, it is the same thing in the like last sloka only. He wanted to see who has come to fight against me. Why is this a fight happening? It is just happening because of the desire of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. So he is only saying, wishing to please the evil mind of son of Dhritarashtra. See, when we can always please people, but we always have to please people who have got a good mind and who thinks good, and whatever they do gives good results. So here, why is this fight? All the people, those who have come there to support Dhritarashtra or Duryodhana, have come there to support the evil mind of Dhritarashtra. Yeah. Who will read? Just go ahead with the meaning. If sloka is a bit difficult. Dikshit Prasad, will you just read the meaning?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah.
Translation. Sanjaya said, O decision dead of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. Can I read Shloka Mataji?
Yeah, if you can, you read, but yeah.
Sanjaya Vacha. Evam Ukto Hristesheko गुडकेशन भारत भरत सैन्योर उभयोर माधये शतपायित्वा रथोत्तमं
Yeah.
अंत అయిపోయింది మాతాజీ.
Here, what Sanjaya says is, "Oh, descendant of Bharata." Descendant of Bharata means Bharata Vamsida. That means these are who is Dhritarashtra? Who is Dhritarashtra? He is one of the family member of the Bharata Vamsa. So he says, you are the one of the member of Bharata Vamsa. Having thus been addressed by Arjuna, after Arjuna addresses Krishna like that, Krishna has drawn his chariot in the midst of both the armies. So Krishna takes his chariot to the middle of both the armies. Here he addresses him as Gudakesa. That means Guda means sleep or ignorance. So here, why did Krishna address, Sanjaya address Arjuna like that is because Arjuna, it means the meaning of this word is a person who never sleeps. Does that mean that Arjuna never sleeps? He sleeps. But even in the sleeps, Arjuna remembers Krishna, even in the sleep. So that means it is as good as not sleeping. Like even there can be some devotees in this Kali Yuga who, as long as they are awake, they might be remembering Krishna. But once they sleep, they forget Krishna. But Arjuna, they say, is not like that. Even in his sleep, he remembers Krishna. There is a story, I don't know how far it is true, but what is said in that story is, once somebody asked Krishna, why you like Arjuna so much? There are so many people around. Why you give so much of importance to Arjuna? Why you like him so much? So Krishna says, come, I'll tell you why I like him so much. And he takes that man to Arjuna. So when they go, Arjuna will be sleeping. So he tells that man, you go and put your ear on the chest of Arjuna. What you'll hear. Normally, if somebody does that on our chest, what will happen? We will hear the sound of blub dub, blub dub, blub dub. The way when a stethoscope is put like this, we hear the sound of the heart. But when the ear was put on Arjuna's chest, I understand it was, they could hear the sound of Krishna, 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 Krishna. That means even in his sleep, he keeps chanting the name of Krishna. Even in his sleep, he does not forget Krishna. He's such kind of a devotee. That is the reason why Krishna supports Arjuna so much. And also the meaning of this Gudakesha is ignorance. That means here his ignorance is, he is not at all ignorant man, and a man without ignorance. So that is the reason why he is called like that. So the last sloka for the day. Okay, Harshit, you can read.
कृष्ण माताजी भीष्म द्रोण प्रमाखतः सर्वेषां चामहि स्थितम् उवाच पार्थ पश्यैतं समावेतं कुरुविन्निति. Translation: In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here.
Yeah. So as now Arjuna has asked him to take him to the take him a friend to see, to have a direct view of who are all assembled here. Krishna has taken him there. Where did he take? He has taken him to the presence of Bhishma and Drona. This is where Krishna has done a very intelligent act. Like there are a lot of everybody, all the warriors are there. If only Krishna has taken Arjuna to the place where Duryodhana was there, or Dushtadumya was there, what would happen? Immediately Arjuna would get angry and becomes very ferocious, and then he would just get into the war. But here Krishna is so merciful that he wanted to tell Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, which in turn we are all going to listen. So that way, what has he done? He has taken Arjuna to the presence of Bhishma and Drona. Who is Bhishma? Bhishma is his grandfather, and Drona is his guru. And it is not that easy to fight with your grandfather or Drona. So that is where he has taken him to and then he halted the chariot there. And then see, this is the Kuru assembly, and they have assembled here. So this is where it stops. So from next week we'll see what Arjuna has stopped. Okay, we'll stop here. Very sure. Stop sharing. Okay. Right. Okay. So now so this is we shall end here. We shall end here. I shall give. So now. I posted attendance. You can mark the attendance. I am stopping recording.